Ads look really good.
Sometimes we're doing it so easy.
JT, is your phone on vibrate? Is your phone on vibrate? Just making sure. Hate for you to have to buy donuts. God, I should have called him.
Remember, we switched that from donuts to prime rib.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he has. Yeah,
Helping out.
we like it when you buy because you don't get the cheap day old stuff. You get the. Yeah, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
We'd love that too. Yeah, yeah.
Isn't there some fundraiser that they have those? We used to do at K1.
Yeah, usually once a year.
Kiwanis, I think, does it.
Yeah.
Almost a day old by the time they get up here.
Yeah. Depends on how fast you drive.
Yeah. Well, we got a minute, I guess.
All right.
So.
2 minutes.
Tension is building.
Yeah. Steve, I heard that the Prairie Lakes event went very well out at the extension building. My wife was out there all day working and she said it was just a perfect site for that. So thank you. Yeah.
Ran in the living room. He may not be able to jump on.
No, he said he wasn't be here. He
Yeah,
texted me
he might try
yesterday.
to. Oh, he can't.
He texted me yesterday saying that he was not going to make it on the Zoom
Okay.
call. Something about Wi-Fi in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's what we were wondering. You know, if it was going to work.
I know. All right, good morning, everybody. It is 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and I'll have Mitch Kane lead us, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call for public comment. Public comment may be submitted in person or via telephone at 605-882-6248 or 882-6297. Either one of those numbers will work. Would remind everybody in attendance today to please silence your cell phones, make sure that they're on vibrate. If they do ring during the meeting, then you'll have to bring donuts next week. So, number 3, any conflict of interest items for the commissioners?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Number 4, action to approve the January 28th agenda.
So moved.
Moved by McElhaney, second by Gable. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Should also be noted for the minutes that Commissioner Schwer is absent today. Number 5, action to approve the January 21st, 2025 minutes.
So move.
Moved by Johnson, second by McElhaney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Item number 6, this is an action on a request to sell alcohol at a wedding event at the Codington County Extension Center. Mitch Kane, come on up, Mitch. Come on up, sure, yeah. If you could just have a seat and turn your microphone on there, introduce yourself, Mitch.
Push the button. There you go.
All right, Mitchell Kane, here to request that the commissioners approve our request to sell or allow Cloud9 to sell alcohol at our wedding that we have planned for June 7th, 2025. June 7th at the extension building or extension center, whatever.
And it's Cloud9's license. that's
Correct.
transferring over.
Cloud9 will transfer their license and they will handle all of the alcohol sales and then also be the entity to provide the certificate of insurance for
Okay.
that, the sale of that alcohol.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by McElhaney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Mitch.
Awesome.
Good
Thank
luck.
you, guys.
Thank you. Item number 7, discussion, possible action to authorize funding for the 2025 RAFE. That is the Rural Access Infrastructure Funds application and grant for Kransberg Township. Auditor Hanton, do you have some more information on this?
Correct. So you did task me with reaching out to our state's attorney, and this is what she replied back. SDCL 31-34-6 is a provision that provides that a township requesting use of these funds shall have either a secondary road levy or a tax levy opt-out. The language of the statute makes it non-discretionary condition, meaning that they must have one of those options in place. If they have neither in place, the statutory scheme dictates that the funds may not be allocated.
And Mr. Chair. So,
Commissioner Gable?
yeah, so neither of those conditions is met as I understand it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Appreciate the concise response, your help, Brenda, and the state's attorney's concise response.
There had been some discussion about using contingency funds to offset that. Is that still something that the commission is interested in, or is that something that,
No,
okay, all right,
the comment, Chair, now, since this particular site had been requested, can they come back in and request a year from our next year, in the year 26,
yes.
25 and 26?
That will be up to your discretion. That isn't spelled out in, the policy that we set in place. By that time, that would allow them to be able to put a secondary
Yeah.
road or an opt-out in, at their annual meeting now in 2025.
I
So,
bring that up only so to help give them some direction as to what they can do, some other resources. Okay, thank
We
you.
did receive that, for you all this and show us what we need to fill out for next year. Now, can we reapply these culverts to next year's deal or not?
I'm not sure if that's in statute. Randy, do you,
Okay,
So let me ask you this.
Can you, sir, can you come forward and just have a seat and identify yourself so we know who's talking?
yeah, identify yourself.
Brian Zog, Kransberg Township.
Thanks, Brian.
So going forward on that, you guys, I believe Ben showed you the pictures last week of how bad the culverts were in shape. They had to be replaced no matter what, just because of the dangers of the road.
Mhm.
So that being said, can we reapply them the following year? Because the work is supposed to be done after we receive the money, correct? But being they were in such bad shape, there was no option. They had to be taken care of.
the one thing, yeah, I would add to that, they did add an emergency clause to this original statute, which was in case of spring flooding or that sort of thing, that
Okay.
then those culverts could be applied for, because obviously when you do all your work in the fall, the previous year, you don't know that that's going to happen. I know they added that. Travis will be talking about some legislation, so I guess, I don't, that would be up to the board, but I do know they added that emergency clause in.
Right. Well, and I mean, it's not, this was an emergency because if somebody would have fell through or something would happen, what do we do there? We couldn't wait for a year for the money no matter what anyways. They had to be done. So.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Zog.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, we'll move on to number 8. That is discussion with Travis Paulson on the RAFE legislation. So Travis, if you want to come on up.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning. On here.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to take a few minutes as we're into the legislative session for 2025 here and kind of just update, I guess, what our plan is for the Rural Access Infrastructure Fund going forward. So 2024 was the last allocation of the funds from the previous legislation that we had passed. So 2025 is the final year that those are distributed. Now, we do have until 2029 to utilize those funds. I know if you look at Codington County's the dollar amount in that fund right now, it looks like perhaps the dollars aren't needed, but that's not true. I mean, we're trying to get people educated as to how to apply for these funds and how to jump through the hoops.
Right.
And I understand there's some hoops, we worked, so the master plan, our database was designed by the Department of Transportation. So that was in having, if you're familiar with some of the ways they have, I mean, it's legislatures, how they come up with, there's so many hoops to jump through. And, we spent the first $3 million just setting up the database and the, how many culverts and how many small bridges we had in the state. So, but just to give you a couple of numbers here. So Minnehaha County was allocated 1.56 million plus. And Lincoln County was allocated just about 1.2 million. Hutchinson County was at 1.27 million. All 3 of those counties used all their funds. So they've used them up. That's just a few examples of some counties that have used some big dollars, used them all up. So those are just 4 counties and over $4.5 million in the past 3 years. So, I mean, some of the counties have obviously taken full advantage of the program. Others have used, the majority of the fund. There's plenty that have used the majority of the fund. And then there's others that have used very little or none of it. So, our goal has been education here, trying to get, townships educated every year for the last, 2-3 years here at the county weed board and township meeting. I've spoke on it and push the officials of the townships to contact me or contact the association. We'll help you work through it. So, and then our annual conference every year, we have training on how to do it. So we really need, the township officials to pay attention, to step up and ask for help, because we can help you through that process. So, but I just wanted to let you know that we have legislation here that we've been working on, throughout the summer here. And it's basically the same. We're going to be asking for another 25 million for 3 years from the legislature. And it's going to be a tough ask if you're familiar with, what's going on in the legislature. There just isn't money. And they, every answer we get is you're going to have to, who are you going to take it from? That's, if you ask for money, it's got to come from somewhere else. So we had meetings with the DOT and the DOT Commission earlier this year, or last summer, and we found some dollars that we thought within their budget that would fit our need. And we were turned down. It just doesn't trickle down to our level. And that's where I would prefer to get the dollars from that have already been allocated for infrastructure and for roads. And I expressed directly to them, to the commission, to the secretary and to the board, that I would prefer not to deal ask for funds that teachers are also asking for and different funds like that. I don't want to have to, take from them to support our infrastructure when I feel our Department of Transportation should be doing that and trickling some more of those dollars down. But I did just want to let you know that we are asking for another 25 million. We've got prime sponsors in both the Senate and the House that we've been working with. But my main reason for being here today is to maybe ask the commissioners, sorry, it's kind of a wide range here. I'm talking to you all, but is that we really would request, more of a partnership from the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners. We've dealt with them, for the last 3 years, and in many cases have been really, good to work with and supportive. However, in the last year here, it's been hard to get the support and even so, we've met with them, a few different times, or their executive director anyway. But I guess I just want to share an email. Chris Jacobson is the executive director for the Association of County Commissioners. But just a recent email of our executive director, asking for assistance, and we just haven't had feedback. There's been a lot of emails that are way delayed or just not fed back. So I'll just again, I don't have a date on this email, but Chris writes back in an email to our executive director, Terry. Thank you for sharing your proposals to continue the RAFE program. It is important to support the local infrastructure needs. Given the legislative year's funding challenges and the remaining RAFE funds that are yet to be used by 2029, the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners Board of Directors have decided that we certainly would not oppose your endeavor, but our legislative priorities and resources need to be focused elsewhere. Not the answer we were looking for. I mean, we really need the counties to be in support of our what we're trying to get done here, and we just haven't seen that. So I guess why I'm here today is to ask the Codington County Commissioners to reach out, if you would, to the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners, to their directors directly, if you could, and just let them know that the numbers are there. I mean, and I understand that it doesn't look good when there's a number of funds to be used. However, we have till 29 to use those funds. But the numbers that we're going to present to the legislature, again, is that the culverts and the small structures, or large culverts and small structures, they're out there that need repair. So the DOT identifies to date 9,185 culverts and 494 small bridges on maintained township roads and county secondary roads. So of those, 1,284 culverts and 163 small bridges are on maintained roads and are in critical to poor condition. So that's a lot of structures in the critical to poor. So it's definitely a need, and that's what we're going to be, attempting to prove again to the legislature here. But I just wanted to ask for your help to maybe reach out to the directors of the County Commission Association for the state, and maybe give them a little feedback, maybe that we could definitely use their support. So without taking up any more time, that's kind of what I wanted to come for. But I'll answer any questions that I can. If
I do have a question there.
Sure.
There's nothing in a House or Senate bill at this point in time. I thought I was going through the bills that are being presented, and I thought I saw a bill in reference to this.
I don't believe our bill is dropped yet. I may be mistaken, but I don't think so. I would have heard if it was dropped here, but
Would it be a House or a Senate bill?
I believe it's going to be on the Senate side, I believe.
Maybe it
Don't
was
hold me to
something
that,
on a proposed,
Yeah.
something like that, but I didn't know if you had a bill number that we could be chasing.
Right, and I'll certainly pass that on
do that.
when we drop the bill. We're going to be, our legislative day is next week, a week from now, and we'll be out there. So we usually try to get our bill to go before the committee when we're out there, so we don't have to make a special trip. So we'll be there next week anyway, and we're hoping that timeline works, that we go.
Who's your
forward.
sponsor?
On the Senate side, it's Sidney Davis.
Okay.
So from District 17, and then on the House side, Representative Marty Overweg.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, those are,
Good.
and we've actually been working closely with Al Novastrup from Brown County, who's been very supportive as well. So, yep.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
very
you.
much. Have a good day.
Yeah, me too.
All right, moving on to number 9, action to approve plat resolution 2025-04. This is the Trent Sumner edition. And Luke Mueller. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning. Yes, we have the plat of Trent Sumner Edition in the west half of the northwest quarter of section 11, 11955. That is Eden Township. The plat here is it's a slightly different version of a farmstead exemption, but it's one that was recommended for approval by the planning commission. I will make the note and reference what's going on here is that 3-year land use plan that was adopted in 2012 and decisions of the Board of Adjustment, the ability to transfer a farmstead exemption from the site that it sits on across somewhere within the same section, as long as the folks that own the property all agree to that, is just fine. Essentially expressed another way, the farmer said he's cool having neighbors. And that's what happened here. They signed the documents, have things ready to be recorded as soon as this plat is recorded. So Planning Commission recommended approval, and that's where it sits.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Johnson.
Second.
Second by McElhaney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Monthly reports. Let's move on to emergency management. Andrew Delgado. Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Morning, Andrew.
Yeah, over the last month, had the cybersecurity review. That's one of the requirements for getting reimbursement for our Homeland Security grant. Submitted county contacts to the state as required for our local emergency management performance grant. Got volunteer rosters ready for today. Quarterly reports for mitigation projects. There's a couple of mitigation projects. So I reached out to both of those entities to make sure that their quarterly reports were accurate. There's one that I sign off on, and the other one they have everybody that they need to sign off internally. Yeah, currently working through communication issue with one of the volunteer fire departments. The transfer that was approved last week, that's going to at least help bridge a gap in the near term. But we are looking for longer term solutions. It looks like there's a grant out there that maybe they could work for it. So yeah, trying to help them out the best I can, and possibly yeah, we're working through that. Hopefully it goes better moving forward. So we had 4 search and rescue call outs. There's another near call out in Day County. There was a vehicle through the ice that was abandoned or halfway through the ice. So I guess there was just a few things that, I mean, that we wanted to put out kind of on behalf of search and rescue team. And I mean, number one is just be aware on the ice. I mean, especially staying away from heaves. Ice conditions are always changing, and that's likely to anticipate with the changing weather later this week. So know your way off, especially at night. And then if your vehicle sinks, let dispatch know. So as I was saying, we had 4 call outs. There was only one of them that we actually had to continue and respond all the way to, and we helped find somebody who was lost on the ice at night. But I mean, these are all volunteers. They're not necessarily paid to go, look at an empty vehicle. So if you get out of your vehicle, please call it in, or at least be with your vehicle until there's some sort of emergency responder there. I guess moving on, hazmat familiarization class from last year's hazardous material emergency preparedness grant. That went well. Don told me it was a great turnout for training. He said that participations from the students went really well. So we applied for that same training grant for next year. And I guess that's all I have for you guys for the monthly report part of it.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
All right, since you're up here, let's go ahead and move down to, is number 12? 11? Action to approve resolution 2025-03 to designate county officials for fire suppression assistance requests. And you should have that in front of you. Brenda?
This is just a yearly that we need to do to designate those individuals. And it's through the South Dakota Department of Agriculture. So it's just a yearly housekeeping thing.
Housekeeping.
Motion to approve.
Motion by McElhaney.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And you
Thank
did notice mostly what changes each year is when you change your chair, then we need to designate that individual as one of them.
Number 12 is action to approve volunteer rosters for work comp insurance. This is another item that comes before us each and every year just to make sure that our folks are properly covered under work comp insurance, particularly for volunteers with search and rescue.
And weather spotters,
Weather spotters
Yep.
and LEPC.
So
No, that's
that's
separate.
a separate.
Yep.
Yep.
So search and rescue and weather spotters is really what we're.
Motion to approve.
Motion by McElhaney, second by Gable. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just, now all of these have been contacted and, I mean, you verbally or in writing have made contact with them to assure that they know they're on the list.
Everybody, yeah, well, I mean, everybody who's on the search and rescue team, they come to training with us. They know that they're on the list.
And
They're
that's a
people-
smaller
and
list. The next one
then
is the longer one that I
the-
wonder about.
Oh,
That's
you're
a
talking
little
weather
LEPC.
spotter.
So the LEPC is
Separate.
completely separate.
Yes, I know. yeah.
Okay, yep. So that's not for workman's comp. That's just as required for, to be in good standing, with the department, with Danner, and be able to get
Okay.
LEPC.
And that's our next item,
That's
so
our
we'll
next
move on to
item.
that. So let's go ahead and approve number 12. This is the volunteer rosters for work comp insurance. We have a motion and a second. Any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to number 13. Now let's talk about the LEPC roster. Andrew.
Yeah, so Danner, one of the things that we need to do to stay in good standing and to be eligible for our LEPC grant, which helps us be able to fund different projects to help us be able to respond to hazardous material incidents and to maintain our LEPC. That's what this roster is. It's required for that. And these are all people that have that show up or have at least made a presence, at LEPC meetings.
That was my question
Yes.
before, is, this is a long list. Are there have they all been notified that they are on the list?
These are all, they get, every time we do a meeting, they are notified that we have a meeting
Okay.
coming up.
They know
Yep.
that they're members.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, I'll make the motion to approve that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mackel. Can I make the motion? Oh, I can't make the motion. All right, I'm still learning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can make the motion, Mr. Chair, if you want to.
Well,
Okay, I won't make the motion. I'll rescind my motion.
So,
I'll make
All
the
right.
motion.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Didn't mean to cause a
typically not.
conundrum.
Yeah, typically.
It's not traditional, but it's okay.
Okay, all right. I'm still learning, so forgive me. All right, let's move on to number 14. This, oh, I'm sorry. Let's
We
get
got
the sheriff
sheriff's
up here
report.
for his monthly report. Just about forgot about you, man.
You almost got missed, Brad.
Almost got missed. We don't want to miss today. I got a whole pile of paper here to go through with you guys, so
All right.
we'll start out with our monthly balance sheet and our monthly report. You guys want to grab one of those and pass them down? All right, did everybody get one?
Yep.
Perfect. I think there should be extra copies for the guys that are missing here today, so. But we'll start on the front page there of that document there, the commissary monthly balance sheet. So at the end of December 24, our balance at the snapshot when we took this was $22,162.05. There was $284.60 in the lobby ATM and booking kiosk there for a grand total of $22,446.65. Resident balances at the time were $2,571.09. Commissary items tax not dispersed there, $3,543.04. Leaving the balance at $16,332.52. Brings us back to our 15,000 that we started with. You'll see on the very bottom there, the commissary and commission for 24, we made for the month of December, $1,273.04 in commissary commission, phone commission, $1,125.60, and kiosk commission, $341.18 for a grand total of $2,739.82. We jump to the next page there in our monthly balance sheet for the checking account. The bank balance end of December, $7,596.17. We collected $32 in copy fees, $6,349.67 in sheriff's fees, and $325 in warrant fees that were collected for a grand total of $6,706.67, which leaves our total that we started with $889.50. If you jump to the next page there, we'll kind of go over some sheriff's office activity for the month of December. And month of December 24, sheriff's office responded to 510 cases and calls for service. 9 accident reports were completed. 62 warrants were served. 171 civil papers were served, and 4,198 transport miles were put on. That was a total of 17 trips.
Wow.
With 27 people transported. So you can see we're trying to double them up and triple them up as much as we can when we're making our transports to save on the miles. If we jump down to the middle of the page there, Lee's got it pulled up. Some jail activity for the month of December. Our average daily population was 41.65. Our high ADP was 50. Our low ADP was 32. For a total of, where are we at here? Scram bracelet. On the 24/7 program, we had 18 people. We had 13 people on the remote breath, 44 people on twice daily PBT, 39 people on the twice weekly UAs, and 0 people on the sweat patch for a total of 114 people on the 24/7 program in the month of December. You can see the bookings. There was 203 bookings in the month of December. So those are staying steady with the kind of the average there, the number of people that were booked in and out of jail there. If you jump on down to the bottom now, kind of go over some fees. For the month of December, there was $13,307.67 in out-of-county contract funds that were collected. Work release fees collected $3,040. 24/7 fees, there was $9,589 collected there, and scram fees collected was $3,966 in the month of December. Any questions on the monthly report? If not, we got my end of the year report kind of ready to go too. But so just a couple other things I wanted to touch base on. We recently had our juvenile compliance with our state of South Dakota was done. We passed successfully with flying colors. We're doing everything great with the state of South Dakota and the federal laws to continue on there. So just wanted to share that. We've been doing a lot with our architects for the jail, meeting a lot with them, going over design, inmate flow, trying to make it efficient, make sure everything flows smoothly. And then at the end of the meeting today, I was wondering if we can have an exec meeting and talk about courthouse security a little bit. Recently did a courthouse security with the Homeland Security and figured I'd go over the findings with you guys. So
Yeah, that'd be fine.
perfect. And I was hoping Steve can be a part of that as well.
Okay. Right.
All right. Any questions on that before we dive into the end of the year reports here?
No questions.
All right. You guys want to grab one of those and pass them down? Start with the security booth. And security booth at the courthouse. I'm just gonna touch on a few of the numbers because there's a lot of data here and a lot of things that we could go over and we could spend a lot of time here. But I gave you the last 5.5 years worth of data here from since inception. You can see the average or the daily walkthrough coming through the booth here in 2024 was quite high. There was 91,473 people that came through the security booth. You can see from the year before, that's around 12,000 people more. It was a busy year with election and just a lot of people coming and going, but there was 14,751 packages that went through the X-ray machine there. Total weapons that were found, which could be knives, mace, pepper spray, anything that could be as a weapon. There were 752 of those that were found in the security booth throughout 2024. The booth was open for 244 days. That averages out to be about 374.89 people per day that are coming through the courthouse. This is just people coming to visit and pay their taxes and get their license, et cetera, and coming to court. All the employees have key fobs, so they're coming through the other gate, so they're not included in this number here, so. All right.
Is that daily?
That would be the average daily is 374.89 people coming through daily.
And then the average number of weapons, that would be what's found daily as well, right?
Yep.
3?
An average of about 3 weapons are found a day that are coming through or that they kind of catch and have them send them back to their vehicle. Oftentimes it's someone coming with a pocket knife or something like that they just forget it and just send them back out to their car. So
Cheese grater.
there's all kinds
Something.
of different things we've found through the security booth there. So we'll jump on down to the next one here. Go ahead and grab one of those and pass them on down. This here will be our sheriff's office activity. And again, like I say, we'll just touch base on a few of these because there's all kinds of different things here. Lee has some of these up on the board. Lee, do you have the sheriff's one that I sent you?
Yeah,
Pull that
I
up,
think that's
yeah.
what I think that's what I'm looking at, right?
No, that'd be the jail one there for the corrections officers
Let me,
and
let me,
the
let me
detention
go.
center.
Okay, hold on a second.
So the 2024 annual report here, some of the ones that I kind of stick out here, the top box there is the incident types. Those are some of the incident calls and the calls for service that we got, kind of broke them down a little bit. Traffic complaints are up 554 traffic complaints compared to about 492 in 2023. Vehicle accident calls where we get called to the accident, we're down just a little bit, 329 compared to 404. Animal complaints were down just a little bit, 201 to 273. Assaults assault calls were actually down just a little bit, 25 to from 31. One kind of scroll on down to the bottom there, the warrants issued. There was 927 warrants issued by the courts compared to 886 the year before. But if you look the year before that in 2022, there was 921. So that number is kind of staying average a little bit for the last few years. If you go down to the arrest type here in 2024, kind of concerning the drugs, narcotics arrests are up. We had 143 drugs, narcotics arrests compared to 117 in 23. In 2022, there was 100. So you can see those numbers are kind of creeping up a little bit again. Another one that's kind of concerning is DUI arrests. There was 150 DUI arrests compared to 91 the last couple of years. There was 91 in 23 and 91 in 2022. So those have gone up a lot more too. And also our underage consumption tickets, that's actually gone up too from 34 from 20. So
Brad, I got a question on the DUI
Sure.
stuff. John Pike,
Yeah.
I think he's talked to you. Does the county sheriff's office, do you take advantage of any of the highway safety grants?
we have looked into that.
DUI
and
overtime?
The deputies are on call, so we're getting called out enough. One of the things that we hear is there's a couple that would be interested in some of that highway safety funds for some of that, but some of them rather have their time for their family. So when you start looking at some of that and the reporting, and we have gone to those trainings and kind of looked at that a little bit and weighed the pros versus the cons and we haven't pulled the trigger on it, so.
Okay. Right. It's a huge number.
It is a
And
huge
we've
number.
seen it in the
Yep.
city increase a
Yep.
lot as well.
Yep,
That's a big problem.
yep. One thing, if you kind of look on down there, the new thing we kind of added down here is pistol permits. That kind of number there. So there was 319 pistol permits approved through our office in 2024. If you look at 2022, like see all these numbers here, we just kind of got them compiled for the first time. 2022 in July is when that law went into effect for the free permit. You can see the first quarter, the first half of the year was 128 in 2022, and then in the second half of the year was 228. And then through 2023, it was really busy with permits, people coming in for their free permits. So the staff was really busy trying to get those done. And you can see the numbers slowly came down a little bit in 2024. So still a lot of pistol permits that are coming and going. So want to jump to the next page there. We'll kind of talk a little bit about some of the financial information. Total money that was received through the office was $603,761.72. A lot of that was bonds and stuff that was coming and going. Sheriff's fees received were $99,163.49. Executions collected were $54,364.83. And warrant fees, $4,800 that were collected. And on the pistol permits, it's a free permit to the person. So when they made that law, the sheriff's office they were losing a little bit of funds. So the Secretary of State decided to pay us a small percentage of each one that comes through. So at the end of the year, we have to reconcile with the state to get a small portion of those funds back. So the Secretary of State actually pays the county for doing some of them pistol permits. And that was $5,260 for 2024, for a grand total of $109,223 that the sheriff's office remitted back to the county for fees. If you jump on down to the next little part here, civil papers served, there was 2,988 civil papers served. You can see that was several hundred more from 2023. It's gone up, and it's even gone up probably 700 since 2022 and close to 1,000 since 2021. So our civil process has been a lot busier over the last 3-4 years. We've been running, doing a lot more paper services. Executions, there was 134 executions compared to 186 last year. But if you look at the years prior, we're still a little bit higher on our executions. Warrants served, we served 804 warrants total for the year. Calls for service were actually up a little bit at 7,046 compared to 6,760. So guys have been a lot busier, a lot more calls. Transport miles averaging about the same, around that 41,351 for the year. Mortgage foreclosures, you can see those are up a little bit more. We've had 8 of those last year. And like accident reports that were completed were 155. So kind of a snapshot of some of the activity that the deputies and the sheriff's office has been working on a little bit there. So,
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Gable, go ahead.
Just Sheriff, just for the benefit of those watching, can you define executions in this context?
Define executions, yes.
One shot.
Because a lot of people are kind of wondering what executions are. It's not exactly what you're thinking. It's a part of the civil process. For instance, when somebody may sue somebody and they have a judgment against them for X amount, they can turn that over to the sheriff's office for an execution, where the sheriff's office would have to go out and levy upon that person's property to fulfill that debt and have a sheriff's sale. So there was 134 of those that we went out and trying to fulfill those judgments for the courts. So,
thank you.
That kind of answer the question there a little bit?
I just know people probably wonder what that is.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sheriff, I'd like to just go back to your stats here on the DUI. I would just kind of want to talk about that, put that on the radar here a little bit more.
Sure.
Have you considered doing any type of public campaign or anything to educate the public about DUI? I know we're having the same issue in the city that we're having in the county.
Yep.
That's a big deal because on average, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, a person will drive 80 times before they're arrested for DUI one time.
Yep.
So if that's the case and we went from 150 DUIs, if we went from 91 to 150 this year, we went from 63 to 150 between 2018 and 2024. That's a huge problem. So I don't know if a public campaign, if the sheriff's office would be interested in doing something like
Yep.
that. I don't know. I don't know what
Yep.
the answer is.
Yeah, like I
right?
say,
So,
I kind
so
of,
there's Uber and there's things out
Yep.
there that people need to be educated on. But that number to me, if we're arresting 150 people a year, that's an epidemic. And
That's a
we got to get our
concerning
heads
number, yes.
around that.
Yep.
So
yep.
have you,
That's something I would say I've worked with Chief Toomey a little bit. We've kind of talked about national sheriffs. We've actually gone out and we've done some PSAs on the radios and especially around the New Year's and Christmas and the holidays. So those are some things that we have gone out and done. So those are things that we're continually always looking at, trying to New Year's, trying to push out Facebook,
Yeah.
get a ride. There's a lot of services out there. So
the deputies are all obviously doing a very good job at finding these folks,
Yep.
but there's a
that
lot
is
more that
concerning
are.
that there's that big of a growth,
Yeah.
especially in the 1 year there. So,
Yeah.
and some of that is to better training, being out, being a little bit more proactive
Sure.
this last year too.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Don't drink and drive.
Don't
folks.
drink and drive.
Right.
If you jump to the next one there, we got the detention center data. Now I think we're backwards, Lee. You got the,
I'll get that.
yeah, now you got them backwards again, but
One second.
2024 detention center data here.
I don't have that.
I think
Yeah,
it's-
you just.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yep, should be a packet of a few pages there. So for our average daily population for 2024, it went down about 0.6 or 6.09, I should say, difference from 2023.
That's a
I
good
was
number.
51.49 from 57.58. So if you kind of look, it is kind of averaging over the last 4 years within that 5 to 6, somewhere in there, up and down. Total number of bookings, they're actually up a little bit, up 102 compared to 2023. But if you look across the board again, they're kind of averaging around that 2,400 bookings per year. 2024 was actually 2,557 bookings. That's kind of staying the same. Total number of protective custody mental holds with no charges. Yeah, got that one pulled up on the next page there. That is holds that were being held in our detention center that have no charges, and they're just for mental health holds. You can see in 2023, middle about July, the safe room opened back up again at HSA, and our numbers started to drop immensely again. So we're glad that our HSA has their safe room open, but there are some violent ones that they can't handle sometimes that have to come to our facility. So in a new detention center would have a better, safer space for those people that do come in that have to spend some time with us before they get sent for mental health help. So if you jump down to the next line there, total prisoner days for 2024 was 18,847. It's a little less than 23 was 21,017. Contract prisoner days was 1,370 for 2024. That's about 7.27%. Other counties, and 92.73% was Codington County. We jumped down to the 24/7 sobriety. There we collected $91,240.56 in 24/7 fees compared to 76,000 the year before. So it's about 15,000 more to support that program. On the 24/7 program, there's 18,001 individual PBTs given in 2024 with 91 failures. It kind of shows that it is working a little bit, kind of helping keep people sober for the courts. There were 3,882 UAs given in 2023 with 69 failures. So just about 4,000 times someone actually came into the detention center, and correctional staff had to take a UA from them. And for those who don't know what a UA, that's a urine analysis where they have to test them for drugs. So there were 7 drug patches applied in 2024 with 1 failure. 59 individuals were wearing scram bracelets. It's an ankle monitor that tests for alcohol. Part of the program, there was 2 failures on those, and 26 individuals had remote breath device, and with at some point with 3 failures throughout the year. So you can see that the program is working and helping.
Mr. Chair, just can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, Commissioner Gable.
So just on the table that I'm showing on the screen with the, just the numbers of 24/7. So those are the times that judges issue that as a condition, not necessarily individuals. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of the same individuals going through that from time to time, just to make sure I'm clear on that.
When do they get put on that program?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers that we're seeing there as far as just the raw numbers of the of 24/7. Oh, I'm looking at dollars. These are just dollars in this table here.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, that table there is just dollars. If you jump to the next page there, you'll get the, there
Yeah.
you go.
Got it.
The
Okay,
money
so
collected.
yeah, so the 800 or the 18,000, that's just, okay, those are the tests. I get it. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Good?
Yep.
All right. All right, if you jump on down, you'll see some of the money collected in the detention center there, $91,240.56 for the 24/7 program. And again, the 24/7 program is a self-supporting program that those fees go back in to pay for staff and to kind of help out there. Work release fees, there was $24,410 collected there. Out of county contracts, there was $161,938.76. Small decrease from 2023, about $1,747. Fingerprint fees, there was $2,930 collected, and money from the clerk of courts was $404,384.03. So that'd be bond money, et cetera, that went to the clerk of courts. Scram fees that were collected were $44,569 for a grand total of $729,472.35 went through the detention center at some point or another. Of that money, $320,008.31 was remitted back to the county for to go into the general fund. And if you add the sheriff's office, $103,963, there was a grand total of $429,231.80 that the sheriff's office and detention center put back into the general fund. If you jump on down to the commissary there, you'll see there was $39,488.99 collected from commissary, phone kiosk, and the phone commission there. And that's about it. If you go to the next page, you'll see the average daily population broke down from 1985 to 2024. 1985 is when they started keeping some of those numbers in the detention center. So any questions there?
I do have one question, Pat, and let's go back to the EUA. In the new facility, in the new jail, will there be a time? And I know, well, now every morning when we come to the commission meeting, there's a waiting list, or they're waiting out in the hallway on the lower level to receive their EUA.
That is actually the courts probation officers that are doing the
Yeah.
ones here.
Yeah,
So that'd be kind of separate from our program.
okay, it is separate.
Yep. In our program, they're actually coming into the detention center side, and a few
That's
years
what I
ago,
thought.
we added a little room, little bathroom in just to kind of keep them from coming into the facility. So we got a little bathroom right off the lobby that a correctional officer can go in there with them and get them set up. So
Not that they deserve any more solidarity, but it is kind of right out in the public. So I just was wondering if there's gonna be any changes, and there won't.
on the sheriff's office detention center side, no. Maybe that'd be something that there might be space that you guys could have for something that you guys would have to consider when we move out, and maybe if there would be a spot that they could go into
Sure.
the old building or however that gets remodeled. So,
Thank you.
yep,
Anything else, Sheriff?
that is all I have.
Any
Unless you guys
questions?
have anything for me?
All right. Otherwise, we'll see you at exec.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Number 15, this is discussion possible action to approve upgrade of electrical system for the highway department. Randy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
Morning.
This actually was supposed to be secondary. Reason being is we're looking at getting a tire machine for our shop, which was brought up by our safety committee a year or so ago. trying to eliminate some issues with slips and falls with a wet floor. We've also had a situation where we're trying to break a bead on a large scale tire and the hammerhead came off as we were attempting to break that bead, and luckily nobody got injured. But going forward, this is why we're looking at a tire machine. So I apologize for this being out of order. We got 3 different quotes locally. Both from, 2 of these are from local suppliers. One is from Napa for a price of $24,224.05. And the other one we looked at was a machine from Pomp's Tire for $26,691.87. The third one we eliminated for the simple fact we could not get any additional information nor servicing on. And what we looked at going with was the tire machine from Napa for the $24,224.05. They will deliver, set up, train us, and then we'll have proper service for us. And this was a budgeted item.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve by McElhaney, second by Johnson. Any discussion?
I do know that, I think in our safety and reviews with the highway department and chairman and I and our HR person have been involved in that. That's always been brought up. You know, handling the tires and the safety involved in that.
Correct.
And so this is a piece of equipment that is sorely needed, I would say,
Yes.
for safety issues.
And so Randy, you mentioned the training and so, I just want to make sure that our county employees that are using this machine are adequately trained, so
Correct.
nobody gets hurt.
No.
And
Napa said that they would bring somebody in to properly train everybody, so we would have a
Okay.
class on it where everybody involved in changing tires would be there to participate.
all right, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go down now to the possible action discussion to approve upgrade of electrical system
There we go.
for the highway department.
With that being said, and thank you for the approval of the tire machine, that requires us to upgrade to a 3-phase system. The cheapest route we could go, instead of rewiring everything, was to get what they call a phase converter. And we contacted Schneider Electric, who input our lights at the shop and gave us one of our best quotes ever, came in well under budget for the lighting. So they were the only people that we contacted at that point. He gave us a price all told of $3,450. This would include the phase converter and installation and hookup.
Motion to approve.
Motion by McElhaney, second.
Second it.
Second by Johnson.
Thank you.
Discussion? Commissioner Gable, did you have something?
No, I was just trying to second, but that's okay.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's that big wheel with 3 rabbits that run on it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's always a backup rabbit also, so.
All right, let's move on to the next item for the highway department. Spending some money today. Discussion, possible action to approve purchase of a new pickup for the highway department. Randy.
This also is a budgeted item. What it's looking at is replacing the truck that I currently drive and handing mine down to South Shore, where we're having an outdated truck. We're having some issues with the transmission, so it's time to move that truck out of our lineup and bring in a new one. We looked at the state for a 3/4 ton Ford, and they came in at wrong sheet here. They came in at $51,053 for this 3/4 ton Ford. So what we did is we went here locally in town to the Ford dealership, a comparable vehicle. They gave us a quote of $51,720, so within a few dollars. But we also compared that locally in town here to a Chevy that came in at $52,227. What I am requesting is that we go with the Ford 3/4 ton from Watertown Ford for the $51,720.
So moved.
Moved by Gable,
I'll
second,
second it.
second by Johnson. The question I would have is the one that's being replaced in South Shore, what is that and where is that going?
But that one we will surplus out due to the fact that we're having issues with it at this point.
In transmission issues?
Yes.
And what year is it?
I believe it is a 14, but don't.
14,
quote me on that.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What was that one used for? Did it have a blade on it?
No, it did not have a blade on it. It was just for our outside person at South Shore to
Okay.
check his roads.
Does your existing pickup have a plow mount on
It
it?
does not, no.
It doesn't, okay.
But going forward with myself and Lynn out checking the roads for snowfall and ice like that, we run into finger drifts and such like that. Or in a bridge that's got some drifting on it that we could simply open up as we're passing through the area, not having to send a full-size truck or
Yeah.
blade out.
Right,
Yeah.
So that going forward is something else we are looking at.
okay. Right, so we have a motion and a second to purchase this vehicle. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rain. Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
Number 17, action to declare a copier surplus to be traded for the treasurer's office.
Okay, I have
Not
that
yet.
information. I don't know if Carol's coming for the next thing. Anyway, it is the Toshiba E-Studio 2518A serial number. Well, anyway, that is the one that was traded for the current copier that she has now.
Motion to
Move to
approve.
approve.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we probably need to get Carol in here for this next one. Discussion possible action for 605 drive rollout. So you want to go grab?
You want to get the other stuff done, claims?
Okay, let's move on to action to approve abatement applications.
Oh,
number
no
19.
abatements.
We'll
I'm
abate.
sorry. No
No
abatements.
abatements. Number 20, action to approve claims for payment.
Yes, so we have two separate, we'll take separate motions. One is just for regular claims. You have the Boys and Girls Club, the JJI funds that you approved to move over for, the juvenile justice reinvestment. And then a host of others, credit union, just some of these, claims that came in and want to take care of them. And then there was a difference in the Pelican Township. They didn't have the street on the first claim, which made a difference in which one it was. So that's just the difference in the amount that they still were allocated.
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson, second by McElhaney. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Action to approve automatic budget supplements.
None. Oh, there still is, salary claims. Sorry.
That's number 21.
Right. So salary claims are under claims as well. Anyway, in January, we need to list everyone, every employee and what their salary is. But down at the bottom, so the total amount of January salary claims was $817,971.19.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Gable, second by McElhaney. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's back up. Carol's here now, so let's back up to number 18, discussion possible action for the 605 drive rollout for the treasurer's office. Good morning, Carol.
Morning. In February, we're going to be going live. Little history. In 2008, we started a new system called SD cars. They changed it so you kept your plate and there were a bunch of things behind it. Well, now they are going to be changing the software that we use to process motor vehicle records. The new system is going to be called 605 Drive. The transition is going to be on Tuesday, February 18th. What they're going to do is they're going to take the county offices down on Thursday, February 13th. There will be no processing of motor vehicles on the 14th, 15th, 16th. They're hoping to have the new system, all the information transferred to the new system, audited, balanced, so that we can go live. They're hoping to be able to bring that up and know it's right by over the weekend, 16th. They're thinking by this Sunday, the 16th, they're gonna let us know. They want us to come in on Monday, the holiday, run some transactions, make sure everything works, make sure our end of day reports balance and all that works out. So, what I'm planning to do is put out an announcement to let the public know that we won't be doing any motor vehicles transactions on Friday, the 14th. One thing that the public will need to know is that the online services where you like go into sdcars.org, sdcars.dmv, I don't know the website right now, but if you go online and you do your renewals, you're used to doing that. They're going to actually take that system down and the self-service terminal that's out in Hy-Vee. They're going to take that down for like a 10-day window. And that's because they're going to want to, they're going to have all these renewals that come in and they need to have those processed out of Brandon. So they need to allow time to have all that stuff settle, make sure their payments settle so that they are not carrying the old into the new system. So the self-service terminals and the online system is going to go down on Friday, the 7th. And it will stay down until Tuesday, the 17th. They'll bring that back up.
Well, okay.
So, I don't think we're going, what I'm thinking is that we will take transactions, excuse me, I'm thinking we'll take transactions through end of day on Thursday, the 16th. I know that some offices are cutting off earlier in the day. But I think that they have bigger margins. My only concern is that, you know, all the dealerships decide that they want to rush in and get everything done on Thursday. It might be a little hairy, but we'll do what we have to do. But the new system, we are looking forward to it. We're hoping that it's going to be faster. More right now, like if you come in at the end of the month, as you're processing a transaction, there is a lag, you know, just from screen to screen to screen. We're thinking that this system will be faster. We know that this system will be better than the one that we did in 08. The system in 08 was not stable. It wasn't ready. This one, they've gone out, they've got a third party that has already well established with motor vehicle processing in other states. They're building on that foundation. So we think that way it's going to go better. The only problem is the learning curve, actually doing things is going to take us a little bit, but we'll work through that. So
Okay.
just want to let the board know that that's coming our way. We're going to do what we can and
Thank you.
try and make it go well. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to number 22, and that's action to approve personnel changes.
Okay, you have one in your packet. And it is for Christy Torstensen, and she will now, in the treasurer's office, be second deputy. Effective February 1st, 2025. Her new step, she'll be grade 30, step 1. And then her new rate of pay, $23.46 an hour or $4,082.04 a month.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Gable, second by Johnson. Any further discussion?
I seconded, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No
Thank
travel
you.
requests.
No travel requests. That's item number 23. Number 24, public notices of a possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance at this week. I have nothing.
I got nothing.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Gable, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Item number 25 is old business. Anybody have any old business? Old business. New business, number 26, new business. All right, let's move down to the open public comments. Anybody have any public comments for the commissioners? Public comments.
Chair, I don't know if anybody else has. This week was the week that we all received in our mail box, our greetings as our taxes and what we're gonna be looking at, and I don't know if anybody else has, but I have had a couple of calls from my constituents in my neighborhood. Really, really upset with the increase and they were really I guess upset with the fact that they didn't realize that the referendum that we passed for the jail was gonna cost them that much money. And the one went on ranting and raving, and I tried to reason with them that the numbers were there prior to the election, and he could have sat down and figured it out, but he thought that we probably should have spoon fed him probably a little bit more information on the increases that might cause. But if some of you others are gonna get calls like that, you just have to bear with them and just listen and hear them out. And that's basically what they need to do, is just unload on somebody. And so that's what they've been doing on me. So that's the way it is.
Okay, we'll direct them all to you. Sounds like
Bring
you
'em
got it
my
down.
way.
All right.
My shoulders are big.
If people have comments
I
or
second that
issues,
idea.
please contact your commissioner and express those to us because we do listen. All right, commission comments. I think that's kind
That
of
was
where
my
we're.
question comment.
All right, so let's move down to executive session. We do have a need to go into executive session for security issues. That would be number 4, discussion information listed in SDCL 1-27 1.5. So I have a motion to go into exec.
So
So
moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Johnson, second by McElhaney. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are in executive session at this point. Thank you. Do we anticipate any action afterwards for anything?